Okay, okay, this is looking like I'm live again, finally. Let's see. Yeah, I think I am. Okay. As always, let me just get these out to my socials and all that good stuff. Okay. I think I'm good. Just gonna check on quality and everything. Make sure that's all good. Okay. Seems like that's all fine and dandy. All right, welcome everybody. Welcome. Today we got some excitement all around because we are actually creating modding a Game Boy Advance. As you can see here, got one right here, to be a Game Boy Advance Consolizer. Now what that is essentially allows you to go ahead and place the Game Boy Advance in this case we're going to do a 3D print. There are other ways you could do it where there's just the LCD screen comes off and then there's a 3D print that goes on here. We're going to be doing it with this 3D print here that I printed off, and then I actually took some XTC 3D to kind of give it a nice shine, nice gloss to the filament. So yeah, so I figured that'd be kind of cool there to do that. But essentially what we're going to do is we're going to make this thing output at 720p over HDMI to your TV. So it's very exciting stuff. And it's pretty cool. This is again by, I think if you've seen the videos at all on the channel, I think one of the biggest ones I have, which thank you if you've watched it, is how to update one of these bad boys. And so of course that was made by, I made the video, but this whole thing here is made by Steven Woozle and sold by Game Tech, or through Game Tech, which is awesome, which is so good to see. It's a little bit harder to come by, and again, obviously there's, a million different reasons why there could be, but essentially, you gotta understand that a lot of these amazing people who create these mods, it's hard to go ahead and create these huge batches for everybody. So that's why it's kind of been more of a trickle than like a huge dump, because of course, they could lose money on it. There could be problems in batches, and that's why. So we have one completed right here. So I'll show you. This is in the old case. So if you watch the video where I went ahead and I updated the firmware, it was on this unit right here. So this one's got the updated firmware, but it's got the old case too. And the old case works. It's fine. Out of anything, putting one together is a little bit more complicated than, just kind of essentially 3D printing this one and, essentially dumping the innards of this in there and soldering up the required wires for the board. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go ahead and put this new one all together. So the first thing you got to do is disassemble this thing. You got to get it all apart. And so I'm actually going to be using today something I got a couple weeks ago, and I'm really liking this thing. It's called the Wow Stick. I'm not even kidding. Again, let's see if you can really see it under here. I bet it is the Wow Stick. That's right. With no word of a lie, 69 different tips you can have, and it's a motorized. You can hear that motorized little screw gun here, which is so cool. It's really cool. I like it. But nevertheless, it is something that I thought it was like, I found it on Amazon. It was pretty cool. I liked it. Because again, I'm always taking apart stuff, when I'm modding. So, don't want to get carpal tunnel or nothing like that. So, hey, this could potentially help that. So, first thing you got to do is take this thing apart. Again, it's pretty easy. They're all tri-wing screws except for this one right here. This is what I actually took out first. I already tried this Game Boy Advance. It does work, which is good. There we go. And this actually just recharges this WoW stick. It's kind of cool. I really like it. I like it. So, yeah. It's exciting. New tech to help with the old tech. So you gotta love that stuff. You gotta love that stuff. And again, happy President's Day to everybody. I hope everyone's enjoying their President's Day. Hopefully you're not working. Hopefully you have the day off, a day of rest and modding. Yeah, I agree. I wish it did 1080p as well. I agree. I will say the 720p looks good. I will say it looks good. But nevertheless, it's one of those deals where, yeah, you know, this day and age, 1080p would be ideal. Now the nice thing is, of course, if you have the older revision or the newer revision, which I can't even say that because they're all the same. The hardware itself is the same. There is no revision of the hardware. But if you have like whether the old case or the new case, it can be updated over firmware. So if you ever wanted to, if you ever could do 1080p, you know, woozle, that would be cool. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. You know, I know he's working on a number of other projects, which is really cool and really exciting, such as the Neo Geo Pocket Color Consolizer, the DS Consolizer, and so on. So a lot of exciting stuff from Woozle, that's for sure. Alrighty, so again, pretty simple stuff here. Again, we got to get this motherboard out. Now, first thing you want to go ahead and see when you do this is that right here, you're either going to see one of two numbers. You're either going to see 32 or 40. And so if you have 32, you do need an adapter. That means you have a 32-pin model. Oftentimes, you can check which model you have, and it's not 100% for sure. But one of the tricks is what you can do here. I'll get this case out of the way. Is if you can actually look to this little number. I'll put it under the microscope because it's so small. Right here. Now, you can actually see this through the case. It's like if I would put this case back on, if you take off the battery cover, you can actually still see it through the case. See? Ooh. But again, if it starts with a 0, odds are it's a 40 pin. Now, this isn't foolproof, but it's a good way to make sure if you're getting a 40 pin or a 32 pin. So the kit supports both. The thing is, of course, if you have a 32 pin, you do need an adapter. So, gotta get that adapter. All right, when you're down to here, again, I'm going to change out my tips because we're going to go back to Phillips heads because that's what we got. We got some Phillips heads. So, ooh, somebody else has been in here, I think, actually, because kind of looking at here, that Phillips head's a little, yeah, it's a little stripped, but nevertheless, still came out. Interesting. I don't know why anyone else would have been in here. And again, this is a Game Boy Advance that I got super cheap. Super cheap. So. Alright, so we undid the pins, the clamps for the pins. Take that out. Undid the motherboard. Take that out. We're not going to need this because, like I said, we're doing a full case. Now, if you were doing an LCD case, you would still want to keep all of this stuff because you're going to be needing it. But we're just going to put it off to the side for now. Okay, we'll get this over here. Off camera. See, look, you don't even know what's going on over here. What does over here look like? You don't want to know. All right, so kind of looking at it's a little dirty. Let's just take a peek here. I mean, the board itself looks like it's in good shape. This is the speaker. It just looks dusty, that's all. The nice thing is, of course, we're not going to be using the speaker. We're going to be taking that bad boy off. We're taking these contacts off as well. So we're going to take these contacts off. We're going to take the speaker off. We're going to kind of prep this motherboard more or less to go ahead and, you know, to essentially go ahead and start our mod here. So let's start with that. Let's get these things off. Yeah. So the nice thing is, when you get any of these off, the contacts or the whatchamacallit there, the speaker, it's actually really easy. I do have my desoldering gun there as always, and I've used it before. But with this, you should be able to just heat it up and just kind of pull it out. So like if you don't have a desoldering gun, this is the easy way to do it. Now you can add some fresh solder, that'll help a little bit too, but essentially, there you go. Nice and easy. Comes right out. And we don't need the speaker. We are going to take the contacts out though. That's something we're going to need to do. And we also are going to do the bypass. So there's actually a small bypass that you can do on the power switch and the actual volume pot. So we'll do that as well. Let me grab the box with all the stuff in it. There we go. So this is the kit right here from GameTech. Might as well just take it out now. Again, he does go ahead and package it all up in a box, and then in here there's a bunch of parts. I mean, a bunch of parts. So we're gonna have to start taking these out eventually. So yeah, that over there for now. Alrighty. So this kit is going to come with a couple different things. We are going to do a recap. So you probably see that over here. We're going to do a recap as well while we have it here. Again, we have the main board itself. That's where, again, we're going to have all of our, where it's going to be with the HDMI and the micro USB to power it is going. We also have there it is in there, the breakout board. So the breakout board is in there, switch is in there. Again, a LED and the quick wire board for the switch, SNES connector, the magnets where all the screws are all around, and they even gives you some Kynar wire. So I do have my Kynar wire here, but yeah, we'll use that Kynar wire too. Okay, and then of course the flex cable. So I'm gonna actually put these kind of like, now that we've got them out, put them all in one area, put them over here. All right. So what am I talking about with the volume pot? So you want to actually short out the volume pot. Right over here. Okay. So if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be the last two pins here. That's where you're going to short it out. Last two pins here. And again, the way to do it, pretty simple. Blob some solder. Boop. There you go. So put you into the micro, but again, you just blob the two together. That's all. Make a bridge. There we go. And then there is also the power switch too. We got to do. So I'm going to do that as well. Okay. Or is it 3? Do we have to? I think we blob it again. I think it's all 3 actually. Then we blob it together. There we go. We should take a look at the old install. Yep, it's all 3. And then we do have the power switch one as well. And that's going to be the 2 over here. You're going to forgive me. I don't install these often because I don't get them often. Hopefully that'll change. So, isn't that kind of funny? I'm just looking at my old install here. So, again, looks like it's these 3 a blob together. So, let me just... Perfect. Do that nice. And then it's going to be these 2 right here that are going to be blobbed together as well. So we'll just kind of... This one, they are pretty far apart. we may put a small resistor wire. Let's do that. Let's put a small resistor wire, a whole bag of resistors around here somewhere. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. Cut that, put it in with tweezers. Let's see. Cut that even more. There we go. So what we'll do, now that we got that all cut, so we'll go ahead, we'll just put a little bit more fresh solder there on each. What we'll do, put a little flux there too. There we go. Squeeze a little flux in there. We'll go ahead, we'll put a little bit more solder on each one. It's kind of a hard point to get to on the board. So I got a little spare resistor wire here. I'm gonna move it so I can get my iron in this way. At least a little easier. And there you go. So if you look, now you've got that bridged right there, and you've got all three bridged here. Again, good stuff right there. So we can go ahead and test this now. Let me grab some batteries, we'll test it. Alrighty, let's try this thing out. So, what we'll do is we'll kind of put back the case here. We're not going to really need all the stuff, we're just going to put it back in real quick. And so, what'll happen, it's pretty simple. If it turns right on, then your bypass has worked. Okay. There's the other one. I'm going to need this piece too. The batteries are going to kind of hold it in. This is what we need. Look at that. Turned right on. Boom. Alright, so good. See? So with the switch turning right on, you can even try if you're like, did the switch, was it in the off position? And you can see here, it was. So that means that's good. That's good. It's working. Okay, so now that we got that and we know that's working, that's good. Let's just keep on keeping on. Which batteries over here. Just put those there for now. Alright, and then after this, what you want to do is go ahead and we're going to do the recap. So the recap actually is a great time to do this now. It's all out here. So that's what we're going to do. And there's actually, with this particular console, the GBA, the capacitors, the list is very short. There's not a lot there. Not a lot there at all. Which is actually fantastic. So, you'll see this, even just looking at this here, there's not a lot. So we have this little guy down here, these two over here, and this big guy right here, which I believe is going to be replaced with an electrolytic through-hole capacitor, but we're not going to put a through-hole. We're going to still solder on the legs, but just kind of bend them over. Okay? So we're going to take out our hot air rework station. Now you can just snip these off if you want, that's fine. But what we're going to do is we're going to use the hot air rework, so we get a nice clean pull. Okay? And I'm going to use some tin foil. And what I'm going to use that tin foil is to basically cover up any other components. I'm going to grab that real quick. Now you can use Kapton tape as well if you want. And I got Kapton tape right there, but I actually really like using tin foil. So the way it works, pretty simple. We're gonna go ahead and do a little hole for where the cap is. Make sure you can see both legs that are going to be desoldered, and just kind of shape it around. And again, you can just take these same side cutters and you can cut these right off. I prefer not to. You know, I prefer to just, you know, have a hot air rework station right there. So, yeah, actually, I prefer Console 5. Console 5 is fantastic when it comes to a lot of their cap kits. Again, his name's Luke's over there. He's fantastic. That's where I get all my cap kits. But this one actually came with the one from Game Tech, and you're right, it does have the, like I said, like you were saying, and it's 100% true, it has the, unfortunately, the electrolytic cap right there. That's a through hole. So, in this case, we'll use it for now. You know, worst case scenario, you can replace it, you know, later. But it's just what we got on hand today, so we'll do that. But yeah, I agree. I think, you know, definitely support Luke over at Console 5. I mean, I have so much, so many fireballs too. So many fireballs. So I agree. If you can get it from Luke, for sure. But this one just had this, so I'm just going to use this for today. Alright, so again, you could snip them off, but I got a hot air rework station right here. So again, pretty standard affair when it comes to this. You just go ahead. That's it. That's it. Nice and slow. Just go around. Right now it's at 300. I'm going to turn it up a bit if it doesn't start to pop up. You can also put on new solder, fresh solder as well, and that'll sometimes get it. But we're just going to kind of get this thing pulled up. Okay. Now, when you do anything like this, you do want to go ahead and make sure you don't keep all in one spot, because of course, you know, when it comes down to it, you don't want to burn any pads or anything. And again, when this is done well, you can simply pull it away. There you go. Just like that. So at this point, I'm going to let it cool for a little bit, for a second. kind of clean up some of the stuff here. This one thing about modding, man, area gets cluttered real quick. So we're gonna go ahead and clean up the pad. Again, make sure, if there was any type of electrolytic fluid or anything, it'll be gone. It's a good time to do it. And then of course, we'll put on our new caps. So yep, all three of these are gonna be the same. Yeah. Cool. I know, I do wish, I don't know why Jason over at Game Tech gives you a through hole. I mean, at least it's a Nichicon, and again, there shouldn't be any type of, Nichicon's really good, really good quality, and there shouldn't be any type of clearance when it comes to putting it in the full case. I'd say if you're doing an LCD, just the LCD one, may not be a bad idea to get the one from Luke where you get the actual SMD with it. Cool. See, look at that. See, none of the little components moved or anything like that, so that's good. So get a little, isopropyl alcohol and just wipe away anything there. There we go. Beautiful. Alrighty. So I'm just doing this one like this just because it's on its own side of the board, so we'll go ahead and just get this out of the way. So what's really nice about a lot of boards, including this one, is that you can see where the plus is. So if you're thinking to yourself, ooh, which one was the positive? Which one's the negative? How was it on? Again, there you go. You can go ahead and see that'll go right in there. The black stripe is going to be the negative, and the side where there isn't a black stripe, that's your positive. So there you go. Easy right there. So we're going to solder this in now. A little bit of flux. And then we'll move on and we'll take all those caps off at once over there. There you go. Some Kester no clean that do clean. Don't listen to the no clean. Do clean. And then let's keep it going. There you go. I'm going to adjust accordingly. Yeah, I like to press down as I'm heating it up, just to make sure it's nice and flat. And there you go. And again, don't listen to the Kester no clean, do clean. So that's what we're going to do right here. Another little squirt. Boop. And there you go. Definitely recommend at least recapping when you're doing this, because it's such little caps that are on here. There's 4. It's so small. It's an easy amount to deal with. So again, totally recommend. And then of course, as always, just kind of wipe up any excess ISO. All right, so again, these two are going to be, in the cap kit that's provided. Again, we're going to have these two that are the same, and then this is the one that's replaced with again, unfortunately, a through hole. But nevertheless, will still work. Yeah, I don't know why Jason does it with that, I really don't. So again, just like before, and again, you can, if you find it easier just to cut it out, you can cut it out. But just like before, what we're gonna do is put the tinfoil all around. There we go. Just so it protects any other components, and then, well, you know the drill by now. Let's pop this bad boy off. Nice big sweeping circles. nice and clean. And again, in case you're wondering, it's at 300 degrees and using about 5.5 airflow out of 8. Okay, so I'm going to let it just for a second before we're going to move on to the next one. Go ahead and take that off as well. Here we go. See why I like the tinfoil? You just take it off and you reuse it. Just mold it around the next one. Just go from there. Again, as long as it's, you know, shouldn't be any power on the board, but should be good. Let's move right to the next one. There we go. Now, doing it this way does ensure that you don't rip any pads. That's kind of the key that you want to keep in mind, is you definitely don't want to rip any pads. That's why you want it to just kind of float right off, kind of like that. Boop. Yeah, just floated right off with the tinfoil. Perfect. So there you go. I'm going to go ahead and take that off. And then we got big chungus here. Yeah, exactly. It's like I've said that already in the video, but yeah, you can just cut them off. But again, you just, you know, you gotta be careful of those pads. Gotta be careful of those pads. Again, the best way to do it is, and you know, and again, I have all my tools right here, so it's convenient for me. If you're, you know, don't have a hot air rework station and you don't plan on getting one, then I wouldn't do it this way. I'd just cut them right off. Snip, snip, snip. But it's President's Day. It's a chill day. It's a chill stream. So we're just going to go ahead and just get them off the correct way. Well, I shouldn't say the correct way, but I like the way you put it, the safest way. Yeah. So you don't tear any pads or anything like that. So there you go. Just keep going around and around. Oh, not under the micro. There we go. Around and around. Now be careful with this one especially. There's actually a resistor very close to this cap. So if you do it this way, just be very careful. And obviously be careful of the plastic. If you kind of notice, I'm actually pushing it like in a direction away from the plastic. Because again, you don't want to melt any of the plastic with a cartridge or anything like that. And you'll even see, once this pops off, I'm actually not going to touch it because I don't want that resistor that probably is heated up as well to go with it. So that's always when you use hot air rework stations, you just want to be mindful of all the components around. And although right now it's covered with the resistor, there we go. Off it goes. So I'm going to let it cool down for a bit, because again, one of the worst things you can do is after you heat up the board in this manner here, you go ahead and, you know, you take some ISO and you take the brush and you just brush it around, and then everything else comes off, all other components go off too. You don't want to do that. So just patience is key. Okay, so we got that. Let's see, do I have my solder wick? We'll take off some of the excess solder here as well, because this one's got a little bit more excess solder than the other pad. So we'll do that in a second there. Put the dead caps over there. Well, they're not dead. They're dead to us, though. The caps are dead to us. Yes, I really don't know why it does a through hole, but it works, but it's not how I would do it, let's put it that way. Not how I would do it. looks like we're just gonna have to do a bend if you want it like that. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, that's how we'll do it. Cut the excess off when we get there. That's how we'll do it for now. Again, it'll work. It's just I don't understand. Actually, I put these a little bit shorter, to be honest. So I can get those a little shorter. I don't understand why it just doesn't include an SMD, but no big deal. Work with what we got. There we go. We'll just cut those off, that excess there. Straighten that out a bit. There we go. Alright, so should be pretty cool down by now that we should be able to just go ahead, put the ISO on, clean under those pads. And this really is an important step you don't wanna skimp out on, because again, you never know what's under there for sure. You know, if it was leaking, this is an easy, you know, way to make sure that it doesn't affect the rest of the install, especially when you pay, you know, whatever this costs for this kit. So, I think it's like just under 200, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me. We'll go ahead, we'll get a little bit of flux on there. We'll get some of this old excess solder off. Okay, so I don't really need to see it under the micro. It's just a matter of heating it up. I'm just kind of taking the wick across. There we go. There we go. Here we go. All right. Let's get these bad boys soldered on, and we can continue with our install. Yeah, it's one thing I've noticed about GBA boards. There's always some excess solder from the factory, which is always crazy to see. So while we got it here, might as well just take those off. It's always at the triggers too. Try not to get the serial. I like having the serial on there. Not that it matters or anything. Not that it really means anything in the year 2021, but it's just cool. Alright, flexed it up. Let's get it going. Again, the wick didn't take off all the excess old solder, but no big deal. Alright, let's keep it going. So I'm going to be floating around 315 right now for my temp. What I like to do with SMDs is just kind of like tack one side in. Which, if you've never done this on a stream, just someone who's done it on a stream for a long time now, it's always a pain. Always a pain. And then we'll do the other side. Still under there? Yeah. There we go. Last one. Yeah, man. That's two. Oh. Just like before, gonna press down. There we go. Nice, good solder joint. And again, this would be where if you had Luke's kit from Console 5, you'd put in just another SMD, but again, we have Jason's from Game Tech. So again, he has this through hole that you just cut down, and as you can see, you got the legs there. So we can kind of bend the legs a little bit down, so nice and flat. Kind of coerce it a bit. It actually reminds me of doing Game Gear. If you've ever done a Game Gear recap, where it's a similar thing where you just kind of go ahead and put in, like, yeah, you put in like through holes, but you put them on pads. So, kind of reminds me of that. Okay, just make sure positive, positive. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and essentially tack this side in real quick. So there we go, gives us nice. Here we go, nice amount. We just kind of flood that and make sure it's hitting that pad. Then we're gonna go back and touch them both up. There we go, we'll touch this up right here. Now we'll get the other side down. Okay, there you go. And we are recapped. So there you go. You can see that even when you turn it like this, you can see it's all, you can just, so if you do get with this cap, that's what you want to do. You want to make sure that it's nice and, you know, flush like that, like it looks like it belongs. Again, unfortunately, like I said, that's if you get this kit. If you do have one with the again Luke's kit, where it has the SMD, then you just go ahead and just do the SMD, put it in like all the other ones. And again, I'm very methodical. I'm gonna go ahead and check my work. Even here, I gotta just clean that up a bit, a little bit. There we go. Alrighty, there we go. So we recapped it now. Perfect. We continue right along. We actually continue back to installing the Consolizer itself, right? So there you go. That's what we're gonna do. So what we want to do is we have to take off the clock crystal, which, okay, yep. the silver guy, which is actually kind of easy actually. You can actually twist this off as well, kind of like the caps as well. Oh, nice. Oh, got it back from Mobius from Chris. Oh my goodness, Chris is amazing. Good people. So you can go ahead and take this off. That way, you know, just twisting it off. If you haven't already started watching, I'm gonna use the hot air workstation again. Maybe it's just the like primal in me. I'm like, oh, I have a tool. I want to use tool. So, and again, it really is a nice, safe option to do this mod. But like before, you can absolutely 100% twist it off and be fine. Okay, so again, just make sure all the resistors, because there are some resistors nearby, are nice and covered. If you are going to do it this way, if you're going to twist it off, go right ahead. But we're going to go ahead and just kind of heat it up a bit. There we go. See you later. Again, let it sit, let it cool down for a bit. So then, yeah, then you're good. And then we have to take out the battery contacts, which is easy stuff too. There we go. Look at that. Again, so we'll wait for it to cool down, because again, all these little resistors and legs and everything else, you don't want to, again, like I said before, take that, like, you know, brush and go to town on it when it's still hot, that's for sure. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it is fantastic to have. Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna say, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the channel, but I did a PS1 digital install right on stream. It was actually my 5th one. It can be a little difficult for sure, not for you know, more for advanced type users, if you will. But again, if you have the right tools, it can definitely be good too. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to like kill PU18 boards, especially now, which I didn't even realize till I went online, and the PU18 boards are through the roof now. Like for a PlayStation, I mean, I'd say through the roof, but it's like $50. But like a PlayStation, like I've gotten PU18 back in the day for like $10. I'm not even kidding. And not, when I say back in the day, like a year ago, before the pandemic hit. And yet here we are, like, you know, now they're $50. And again, they're probably going to climb even more. As crazy as that sounds. But nevertheless, I'm glad you got yours and enjoy it. You know, honestly, I'm glad you got yours and enjoy it. I currently have a PS1 digital hooked up. It's definitely the default way I'm playing for everything but my light gun games. Light gun games, I still use HD Retrovision, just component into the CRT, but for everything else, it's the way to go. Yeah, the Consolizer is good. So I showed it off a little bit earlier, but I've already got the, you know, the older case one here. But I've gone ahead and print this one. So I printed this, and we're going to go ahead and put another Consolizer kit on here. And there you go. Cool. So these battery contacts, because this is going to be powered by micro USB, you no longer need these battery contacts. So you can take them right out. I was having audio issues with the mode on it using a spinning HDM. Well, there you go. I didn't know that. Actually, so I've installed both on the channel as well, the X Station and the mode for PS1. And yeah, if you do watch when I install the mode for the PS1, I used an SSD. I never actually used a hard drive on there. So yeah, I could maybe a little bit of the interference and stuff. One thing I will say though is, now that, you know, I've installed an X Station and a mode, definitely The mode is nice with the, how much cheaper the actual medium is, but the install wise, the X Station so far is flawless after it's installed. I've seen quite a few issues after installing the mode on a PlayStation, even for other customers. One thing I do is I take off the white plug that's on there for the extension, for the I think it's like expansion A or B, it's called, I forget. But I desolder that off because it actually gets in the way of the eject switch, as well as it doesn't, that plastic thing. I hope someone comes up with a 3D print. That black plastic thing's a little, but yeah. But other than that, I mean, both are fantastic solutions. I mean, to think that just honestly, like less than a year ago, we only had the SIO, which the SIO is all right for what it is, but the compatibility is definitely better on these other two options we have now. So it's actually, it's fantastic. We have these options now, which is really good. So when you go ahead and you take off the battery contacts, turn up the heat. Turn up. Because again, one of them is going to be, of course, a ground. Now you are going to be soldering to these contacts as well, so do be wary of that. So again, you don't want to like wreck the pads or anything, but just kind of turn up the heat a little bit. Now I'm at 360, and I just put a little bit of fresh solder on there. Now, if you get a desoldering iron, you could desolder too, which is right over there. But I'm just gonna heat it up. You can use whatever. Actually, I'll heat this one up first. You can use a pair of pliers. I just have these side cutters here, so I'll just use it for leverage. That's all. And just heat it up and right on out it goes. There you go, and we'll solder wick it a little bit too. Yeah, talk about 2020. That was a year of the original PlayStation. It was fantastic. And again, as someone who's got a lot of nostalgia for the original PlayStation, it was awesome. There we go. So just taking off some of that excess solder. And put a little bit of flex on there, because that'll help the wick pick up the solder. There we go. Again, more or less just cleaning it all up before we go ahead, and we're gonna, end up soldering to it. So there you go. Turn down the iron so you don't hit a pad by accident with it nice and hot. Have I recapped a PVM? Yes, I've recapped a PVM, a CRT, a Vectrex, you name it. I think the most annoying amount of recapping a PVM is it takes a while. A lot of caps. A lot of caps. A lot of caps. And that's something I wouldn't stream, just because again I feel like if someone were to do it and be inexperienced, they could definitely hurt themselves, as everyone knows. Again, if you don't discharge the tube correctly, and of course I don't really know how I would be able, like, I got a nice workspace right here that's huge, but I don't know how the camera would be able to capture a lot. Granted, you take out the boards and you do it on the boards, but yeah, just wouldn't do it on the channel, but I've done it. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on to the next step, which is the breakout board. So that's in here. Yes, it's in here. Breakout board's the little guy. So the thing about the breakout board is, there is some small soldering, with Kynar wire to some small points, but again, totally nothing too crazy. The issue that you can run into with the actual, oh gosh, look at this. There we go. With soldering to the little pads, which we're gonna do. is, of course, you can burn off the pad. So you got to keep that temperature nice and low. Nice and low. Yeah, why not? We'll use Jason's Kynar. I have blue Kynar, but we'll use that. Put the flex cables and everything back for now. So there we go. No, you don't have to. Again, what we did here is earlier, we went ahead and you just do like a little bypass here. But man, I don't have to take it off. So what it does, if you don't know, is that essentially keeps it on all the time. So when you put it back, you know, you put it on and it just goes on. So even if it's in the off position, it still just like turns on. The only reason why I do that, and you know, it's just a silly part of me, is like if you ever want to return it back to a stock state, which why would you? But you know, it's always in the back of my mind, right? It's just nice to like have the switch right there, and you just have to desolder that, and the power switch goes back to working. Again, would anyone actually put this back? No, they wouldn't. Why would they? But it's just like this weird thing in the back of my mind, you know. So, but yeah, it's whatever. It's whatever. Helps me sleep at night. I think so. All right, so. Again, the Kynar wire he's supplied is black. Again, I do have blue, but I will do black. No. Yeah, do you just tear it off? Yeah. No, as long as it's, you know, essentially, because the reason why you want to go ahead and you'd want to set it to constantly on is because the switch itself that you're going to install is going to be able to turn it on and off from the battery contacts. So you want it like to be constant on. Yeah, you can rip it off, but why? You know, it's not going to get in the way of anything. And like I said, it's one of those things where if you ever wanted to turn it back to stock, I don't know why you would. You can. You know, I'm a big fan of like no cut mods and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, stuff like that. It's like, whoa. All right, so this bad boy's gonna go right on like the CPU, right around here. So I'm gonna keep it right there. And then this is where all our wires are gonna come back to this. So what I'm gonna do is, there's no traces on the back here, right? No. Well, there's traces, but there's no vias that go through. Okay. The reason why is because I don't want to go ahead and, you know, put this on top and then it's short out. So you always want to check, make sure what the back looks like, and bam, we're in good shape. What I'm going to do is put a little bit of glue right here to go ahead and keep it in this spot. Now I'm actually going to use, let's see, yeah, you know what, we'll use just a dab of hot glue. Now the reason why I'll use hot glue for this, just to keep it in place, is because again, it's easily reversible. If you don't know, if you have anything that's hot glued, if you have anything that's hot glued like crazy, walk away fast. But if you have anything that's like got hot glue on it, the best way to go ahead and, you know, essentially take the adhesive off is to just put some ISO on it. You know, put some isopropyl alcohol and it'll take it right off. So again, this is just another way to be like, okay, you know, if someone goes ahead and they're like, you know, want to reverse this, they want to take off this breakout board, which again, I don't know why you would. Again, it's easy, just put some ISO on there and it'll pop off. So yeah, we'll do that as well. You tell I never use the thing. It's the one thing I don't have on hand over there. Oh no, it's over there. And again, you could use capped on tape. You could use, geez, you could use super glue if you wanted. It's up to you. This way, it's still reversible if you ever really wanted to. And again, when I say a dab, it's like a dab. Just to keep it in place. God, I never use this thing. This thing doesn't have an on-off switch. So yeah, now while we're waiting for that to like go ahead and heat up, what we can do is, and the reason why we're doing that now is because you know, we're gonna have all the wires go back to the breakout board, so in that way, you know, we'll have them at the right lengths and everything, which is good. So yeah, so when I do this part, when I go down to the when I'm going to be soldering to these small little pads, you can see here they're small, what I like to do is to go ahead and turn my heat down to around 300. And again, every soldering iron's a little different. However, again, that's honestly, it's a good temp for these pads. You can easily go ahead and burn one off. Now, what's interesting about this is you actually have like a backup plan, I guess probably the best way to put it. If you do burn off one of these pads and you're doing a full case, you can actually solder directly to some of the actual buttons. Now, obviously, I don't recommend that because then it'd be very, you know, it's a little bit harder to go ahead and actually take off any type of solder if you want to go ahead and bring this back to stock. Obviously, if you're doing the LCD one, you can't do that at all because you know, you still have the controller there, that if you want to use the GBA as a controller still, which again you can in the other one, but we're doing a full case here. So that's the kind of the biggest thing, is just like, you know, don't solder to the button pads themselves. You can, like I said, if it's like you burn off a pad and you're like, oh no, what am I gonna do, that is an option, but don't recommend it. So just a dab. Boop. That's all. Bada bang. There you go. And that's it. Yes, I do. Very much so. I do a lot of modding. In fact, this is not my kit. I've shown my kit. This is mine. The one I'm doing is not mine. I also got this, the glass cut for this person. So let me show you here. Well, I shouldn't say the glass, the acrylic, I should say. So I got it through Pocono. So I did go ahead and actually like 3D print out the actual one as well for the kit. But I did get it cut. There we go. And I got 2 flavors. So if you go to Ponoko maybe, I think it's pronounced. P-O-N-O, yeah, P-O-N-O-K-O.com. So they'll actually go ahead and they'll cut this stuff for you, the acrylic. So I've actually gone ahead, and I got 2 right now on hand. So this one's a clear one. You can actually even see with the light it's clear. And this one's a smoked one. You can sort of see without taking them apart there. So this one's clear, and this one's a nice smoke. So I think I'm gonna put the smoke on at the end. I think the smoke with the blue might look good, So there you go. Alright, so we're gonna use the Kynar wire that Jason sent. Again, I do have actually have it right here. The blue that, well, you know the case is gonna be blue, isn't it? It would make sense to keep it blue. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's keep it blue. Let's not do the black that Jason sent over. Let's keep it blue. Let's keep it good. So this is 30 gauge Kynar wire. Again, these are all signals. So this stuff is really, really, really good when you're using stuff for, mod chips, for example. That's all signals. I don't recommend this for any power or any RGB video audio type signals. But Kynar is perfect if it's, again, putting a PS2 mod chip, for example, where you're going to need Kynar. I mean, you're going to do soldering to really small points. Kynar is good for here, where, again, we're going to small pads. As under the micro shows the big pads. And we're going to be going to some small pads. And on top of that, it's flexible, too. So we can make some nice runs here. So what do I use to cut Kynar? Well, you're looking at it. Again, do I have my wire stripper? Absolutely. Got like a bunch of them. But this bad boy, a nail clipper, I find is one of the best ways to strip Kynar. Now you can go ahead and you can burn it off as well, but again, the plastic over time can definitely ruin your soldering iron tip, and you don't want that. So again, with this, you kind of have a lot of control because you're like, okay, I want to take off, for example, here I'll put it on the micro like that much. You just kind of pull it, without going all the way down, and boom, done. Where's the micro? There it is. Boop. So there you go. Boom. Nice and easy. So I really do like doing that. Okay, so let's go ahead and I do have to pull up there we go, where each wire goes, because like I said, these are out of all that I have installed, so much stuff, and yet these I've installed so little of because they're not out there as much. And you know, it's not a bad install too. So, but I think people, you know, some people are confident enough to do it. So, alrighty. So this is in place. Let's start our mods. All right. So TP. We'll start off by just going down here. So that would be good. I'm hoping these are all going to be going towards the same direction. Hoping. So let's go ahead, kind of measure out. I'm also going to do a small super glue job with these, so it'll look nice and slick. That's where you kind of super glue the wires together. Okay, so TP5. Now the nice thing is we can go over, because we're doing this full case, we can go over the buttons. Again, the button pads. If you're doing the LCD install, don't do that. You do have to go ahead and be mindful that you don't go over the buttons. So, it's FYI. So with this, again, like I said, my iron is set to 300. Definitely use some solder. Let me try it again. Definitely use some flux. I mean, yeah, you want to use solder, but you know, it's not going to get far if you don't. Grab that solder. And what I'll actually do is, after get that all fluxed up, again, put that there. Let's get a little bit of solder on that point you want to go to, and then, especially with a board like this, make the board work for you. So constantly, you know, you'll see me move the board, and that's what you want to do. So it's easier for you. Just heat it up, insert the kynar. Bada bing. There you go. That's a good joint right there. And this is TP5. Oh, actually, yeah, they say it right on there too. So I'm going to use my tweezers, which are right here, right where I left them. There we go. That's going to go right to there. Am I under the micro? Whoop, now I am. Now I am. There you go. Nice soldered joint. Okay, see? So there you go. You've got from here to here. There you go. You just do that a whole bunch of times, and you're good. That's the install. That's the mod. Just keep on keeping on. No, no offense. Just because it is good to know that you're also in the great state of Massachusetts. However, well, the great Commonwealth. Sorry, it's Commonwealth. Massachusetts. However, I won't drive to Dedham, and you're not going to ship that bad boy. Oof, don't do it. So, there you go. So, sorry, bud. All right, our next one up is a TP6, which is actually right here, correct? Or was it right here? Was it? Oh no, that's reset, right? God, man. Now I just went on the website. Jason knows how to make this super confusing. Okay, this TP4. It's TP6. Right there. She blows. She blows. There we go. We go on TP4 too, since we're gonna get over there as well. Let's see, let's get that in there. TP6. There we go. Whoop. Since we're here anyway, we'll do TP4. There we go. Alright, let's measure this out. So TP6 is... God, even this board is... right there. So let's go ahead. Let's cut that off. So there you go. Alrighty. I'm gonna trim maybe a little bit, a small pad, so we'll just trim it a little bit. We'll move it around. Exactly, can't hurt to ask, exactly. But not something I'm particularly interested in doing at the moment, at least. All right. There you go. Was it out into the micro? Oh, I was. Okay. Then put some solder on the board itself, the breakout board. And this is literally where it gets boring if you're watching, and I apologize. It's just a lot of this. So again, if you enjoy watching some soldering, then you're in the right place. Because that's what we got going on, some soldering. So TP4. There's the... So TP4 would be right here, right? Yeah, right there. So TP4, we'll bring it over to that. Okay, okay. TP4. And does that go? Okay, so that goes to the back pad. Okay. You know, working with Kynar always reminds me of my PS2 days. Man, I have modded so many PS2s back in the day. It's crazy. And honestly, not that much anymore. It's not, probably because free McBoot, but which is fine. You know, easy way for people. But yeah, I do kind of miss that though. A lot of intricate, small installs. It's cool. You can get real artsy with the Kynar. But yeah. So yeah, it is kind of sad to have seen that ever go, but it's also good that it's opened up to a lot more people. So, which is always good. You know, that's why I like, you know, soft mods for people who are not comfortable with doing this, which is fine. Things like this. So like when you see PS2 and it's like, oh, someone's using free McBoot. It's like, awesome, good for them. I still do have like a mod bow installed, but sold on my other PS2s that had like a crystal back in the day. Mod chip. Yeah, back in the day when you used to install them, you just install whatever you got. So depending whatever mod chip you got in is what you installed. Okay. So you can see where I'm starting to go with this. Again, if you're already kind of looking at least at the big cam, is that, you know, I'm going ahead and making some, you know, tight runs. So the goal is hopefully be able to go ahead and, you know, do nice like super glue look. Although it's going to be smoked glass, you know, if you ever decide to put on the clear glass, you know, still look good. All right, TP3 is our next target, and then TP2 and TP7. So TP3, boop, TP7, and TP2. Perfect. There we go. So we'll get TP3 going. TP2. Wait for somebody to recap my Pro monitor. It's You won't touch anything that isn't Sony. That's funny. I want to say I like JVC. Actually, one of my CRTs is JVC. So I like JVC. But that's funny though. I won't touch anything that isn't Sony. You know, he's an 80-year-old dude. He can, you know, he's earned that right to refuse anything that isn't Sony. Especially if he's still recapping at 80. Good for him. Because the flex fumes hasn't got to him. That's impressive. There we go. I feel like that's, you know, look at the little flex fan, but a little fan to help blow flex and solder fumes away. But yeah, really, you like, you know, does that work really well? Does that really, you know, even with the carbon filters, is that gonna save my life? Hope so. Again, helps me sleep at night. Helps me sleep at night. So I'm going to be doing a stream soon. A gaming stream soon. I'm very excited. I got 2 Sinden light guns in. So, again, if you know anything about me, I'm a huge light gun fan. I have so many light guns for every system. If you name it, I got it. I'm a huge light gun fan. And, again, this company, Sinden, I helped kickstart. It's this guy, Andrew Sinden, who's gone ahead and made a light gun that works on, you know, modern LCDs. So I've already been trying it out with a bunch of arcades, running on my computer, because my computer's pretty beast. And I'm just saying that's because then I can tell you that I've run a lot of like demanding games, like weird demanding games too, like Time Crisis, the original. It's actually very demanding. I couldn't run it on my 3900X CPU, but on my 5900X CPU, it runs flawless. So it's very interesting to even see that, like, even a 3900X struggled with Time Crisis. But yeah, nevertheless, you know, I've tried Rambo, and that works great. A whole bunch of different light gun games, and it's very exciting to just play on a nice big screen, especially the arcade stuff. Because like I said, if I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play, you know, one of my, I don't know, just say Snatcher for Sega CD, right? I'm going to take up my Justifier and I'm going to play that on a CRT. But it's cool to know that I have an option to play on an LCD monitor. There's an option there now. And again, really for me, it's all the arcade shooters. So even like back in the day, what I also started to write up was Jurassic Park. You remember that one? Oh my gosh, I loved that one. And so yeah, I was playing that one on an LCD TV. It was kind of cool. So it was like, wow, this is pretty amazing. And again, there's no setup. You know, I've used the bar, the infrared bar, but you know, before, and it's just, you know, not a fan of it. So it's just nice to like just plug it in USB and just go to town. It's no setup. Well, there's a little setup, but other than that, once you get it set up right to what you want, it's golden. It's really impressive. I'm very, very excited about it. Alright, let's keep on. So I'll be doing a stream with that soon. Again, I'm still just kind of playing with it. But yeah, it's really cool, really cool. And I got the ones with the recoil, so they vibrate really hard. They're actually really loud when you use them too. Just kind of, you know, makes your heart pump when you're playing it, you know. All right, let's get TP2 right there. Cool. So we're actually going to go this way with it because you can obviously. Okay, that's good, but I'll put a little bit, it's like a tad bit more solder on it. There we go. Yeah, you don't want to hang out again on these pads too long either. Just because, again, you don't want to burn them off. So we're just going to keep with our runs. Nice tight runs. Kind of bend that over like that. And then it looks like, well, maybe two more on this side, other than the T7 we're going to do in a second. And then we can see how it all comes together on that one side, which would be fantastic. All right, TP7, here we go. So you can kind of trim that down a little bit. Alrighty. Yeah, I still love it. You know, a guy who's 80 years old still doing PVMs. That's life goals for me right there. Life goals. Still soldering. You know, with a steady hand. Oh, not even another micro, but there you go. Still soldering with a steady hand and still able to see. That's fantastic. Okay, let's see how our runs are so far. Kind of like yeah, it's not till the end that I'm gonna put them nice and neat together, but just want to see where we're at. Actually, the TP7 I can move. Let's move that one just a bit. You know what? I'm gonna recut that then. Recut it. Again, the one thing about Kynar is it's very, very, very fragile. Very fragile. There we go. Check that length again. TP7 is just. There we go. Alright, that's good. What's TP7 doing to me? Sounds like I'm talking about like a robot. TP7. Where are you? So you probably already noticed the microscope's for you guys. I don't really use it. Even when I install the PS1 Digital, I actually find myself using the microscope to check my work, but not to actually perform it. Which, you know, if you need a microscope, that's fine. More power to you. More power to you. But yeah, that's what I kind of find myself a lot with it. Okay. So look at this here. Alright, so again, what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of like, you know, comb these through a little bit, make it nice and straight towards the end. Towards the end, though. You know, just make it look a little bit neater. You know, look a little bit neater. And then we're gonna keep on trucking with this. So again, we have TP9, which is over up here. So that's gonna go along the top. We'll go at the top of the chip. You know what, maybe we'll do this. Maybe we'll go towards the bottom of the chip. If it was there. Yeah, let's cut it and shape it. Yeah, don't worry. You don't need to do this if you do install this. This is just me being, keeping it nice and neat. Essentially, yeah, I'm gonna cut that a little shorter. Okay, working pretty good. Okay, TP9, and then we have clock. So the clock is probably going to go to one of the pads here at the clock. So, let's do it. Oh, that's a short run, isn't it? Actually, can I see mine? Nah, that's the other side of the board. Meh. I wonder. You just solder to the one pad, I think, right? Yeah, let's recut that. I got a little short. Got a little short, but that's fine. So it looks like it's going to the big pad, which I think is connected to the little pad, but that's fine. We'll put it to the big pad. There we go. Just measure it up. There we go. Alrighty, so let's flex it, solder it, go from there. TP9 over here. Bada bing. Flex it, solder it, and stick a wire in it. We'll have one side done. There we go. That's a fresh solder here. Let's do it. So I believe we said we're going under the chip, right? Yeah. let's get this to TP9. There we go. And then let's do the clock point, and that's it for this side of the board. This reminds me of recapping too, where it's kind of tedious, but not hard, you know. Kind of tedious, but not hard. Where's my tweets? There they are. Let's get that bend in there. There we go. Alrighty. Alright, so this side is done. Look at that, huh? Look at that. We're halfway there. Sort of. Still have to do some other stuff. Yeah, I'd say we're halfway there. See, there you go. That makes it sound more positive, more optimistic. Alright, let's get some buttons going. Come on. There we go. So one thing to note is that there's 3 things you don't actually hook up on this PCB. You don't hook up RST. Let me put that under there. So RST, so that's right here, reset. So you don't hook that up. And you don't hook up 1 and 2. So I'm assuming those might be, I don't know, expansions for stuff later? I don't have a clue. But you don't hook them up. So let's work top down here. So TPO. It's gonna go TPO. Let's go. TPO. Actually, let's do TP1 because that's in front of it. There we go. Hopefully you're enjoying the music. Hopefully the music is good. I'll tell you, so many amazing Game Boy Advance games. It's cool that we have mods like this now, it really is. Because there are truly so many amazing ones. It's kind of an underrated system in my mind. I think it's starting to get its due. You know, I've seen Game Boy Advance really kind of like go up and up and up in price, which is good. I think it's starting to get its due. It's a really great system. And again, I grew up with one. I still have my originals because I bought the Nintendo Classic one, the Nintendo Edition one. Back at Toys R Us, still have the original box and the original price tag of $99.99. And then of course I had a Glacier Blue, which I feel like everyone had as well. So yeah, I was totally into it when it was out, but yeah, I'm all about it. I still love it. I still play mine actually a lot. I will say I do play it a lot. That's why I think this is good. And now you don't have to, you know, think that this is the only way to play Game Boy Advance on the big screen, because if you don't know, if you have a GameCube, that's a great way. A GameCube and a Game Boy Advance player, that's a great way to experience the Game Boy Advance on the big screen as well. It really is. And it actually, again, especially now with the HDMI, you know, output plug-and play devices, it's actually a really easy way to also go ahead and experience the GBA on the big screen. What's also pretty cool is, of course, the Game Boy interface by, from the makers of Swiss there. The Game Boy Advance interface, GBI. Oh no, I think it's just Game Boy interface. I think it's GBI, yeah. That's also a really cool, piece of homebrew that you load it up and go to town. So, especially because it looks really sharp. Again, I had a Game Boy Advance player, Game Boy player, for the Game Boy, for the GameCube back in the day. Bought it at Babbage's, not GameStop. And it was, still have that one. That's fantastic. But yeah, it's one of those deals where it's, looking back now, it's very blurry on a modern screen using the Game Boy Advance disc, the Game Boy Player disc. So it's cool that, the Game Boy interface will give it nice, sharp 240p pixels or whatever resolution you want. So yeah. It's also a great way, especially if you can't get your hands on one of these kits, or if you're just like, I don't want to mod it, or I don't want to pay the price for a pre-modded kit. It's a great way to enjoy the Game Boy Advance on the big screen. It really is. Alrighty. Let's keep going. TPO. There it is. So that's above, so we'll actually put this a little bit above TP1. So again, don't want to leave your iron on there too long. You really can burn off these small pads. So definitely, be careful if you, doing this here. Oh, you can do 1080p with the Game Boy player. Yeah, and an OSSC. Yep, you absolutely can. Yep. It looks sharp in the Consolizer. It does. I mean, it really does. I have the, I also have that setup where I have the let's try it again, GameCube component cables, and it looks fantastic. It really does. But yeah, so it's really up to you. For some, it's the convenience of just having an HDMI plug. You plug in, Game Boy Advance game and just go to town. But with the Consolizer. But yeah, like I said, the Game Boy interface, like I said, an OSSC, and you can get some pretty sharp images. That's for sure. You get a pretty sharp image. I always recommend the OSSC though. It's a fantastic device, and I will continue to recommend it until the OSSC Pro comes out. Then I'll probably recommend that. It's true though. It's fantastic. And I've done like the Game Boy. Oh my goodness, I'm in Game Boy mode. The GBS control. I've done live streams of that, putting that together, and that's fantastic too. It's a great option, especially if you're comfortable making it your own. And honestly, it's really good for PS2 because it has the motion adaptive deinterlacing, which again, that's one thing I never played with the OSSC was PS2 and the OSSC because I hate Bob deinterlacing. Love Bob, okay, love Bob from Retro RGB, but do not like Bob deinterlacing. And that's one of the things that I couldn't do it. And again, because of the amazingness of Rama, who has brought us the X Station. He put that custom firmware on the GBS boards, those arcade boards, those cheap ones, and man, it is a great way to play retro gaming as well. I actually recommend it really for PS2 and anything that has outputs 480i, because again, that motion adaptive deinterlacing is just out of this world. It's so good. Like, I used to only play PS2 on CRTs because I could not take it how it looked on the OSSC, and I got a FrameMeister up there, but I couldn't tell you the last time I turned that on. So it just made the most sense that literally the GBS control is like perfect PS2, perfect. Or for and it's that motion adaptive deinterlace is so good. I can't even. It's also really good at switching between the resolutions as well. It's very fast. So with games like Die Hard Arcade, which I love, it switches back and forth really quick. Because that's one game you cannot play on the OSSC, Die Hard Arcade for Sega Saturn, because it just, by the time you get in between stages and you're sitting there and it says like press this button, it's like a quick time event, it's already done by the time the OSSC grabs that signal again, or the FrameMeister grabs that signal again, from the change in resolution. And so the GBS control is really good for that too. Yeah, see, exactly. That's really why you get this, is for the convenience. Honestly, at the end of the day, like you said, and even like I was saying earlier, the Game Boy Advance interface, the GBI, oh my goodness, it's amazing. It really is, for what it can make the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance look like. Looks incredible. But again, you have to log into Swiss. Hopefully your settings are all saved. And you're all good, and you have to like go through it like that. Again, not a pain for most. Most would be like, whatever, it's worth it. But for others, this is a better option. Or even for the irony of portability. Because you can go ahead and you can essentially, take this and you want to bring it to another TV, not a problem. Just bring a micro USB and a mini HDMI to HDMI. That's kind of the most annoying thing, I think, but it's not a lot of room on here. But yeah. And then you're off and running. So is that the irony of like, you can, it's a Game Boy Advance that's can hook to your TV that's more portable. If that makes any sense. Or you just put an IPS screen and just have a ball. Yeah, it's either way. Either way, doesn't matter. Just enjoy this great console. Enjoy. That's and especially now. Oh my gosh. So I have again a few modded Game Boy Advances upstairs, and I was actually helping out a friend of mine who was looking to put an IPS screen in his, which he did on his own. Very proud of him. But yeah, so one of the things is, when it comes down to the IPS screens, is that a lot has changed. In fact, so I actually I've been modding for decades. Not even kidding. So one of my Game Boy Advances is still rocking a, it's a horizontal unit, and it's still rocking a AGS 101 screen. And I wasn't I didn't know that those are just like gone now. They can't even get the AGS 101 screens, and now they have the IPS screens. And so I did do an IPS screen a while back for someone else, and so I got to compare the two, and it's actually pretty crazy how different they are, and they really are different. It really surprised me. So really, when you see these new IPS screens, they're very sharp, they're very bright. But yeah, I was so surprised at the difference. I think the biggest difference that stuck out to me is the one that uses the AGS 101 screen that I modded years ago. It actually is, it still get those grid lines, which is a cool feature of this too. If one thing I don't think the Game Boy interface has, at least not yet, or I don't know if it's ever going to be able to implement it. And maybe it already has it, I don't know. Is the ability to do the grid lines. Because again, when you look at a Game Boy Advance, you have those grid lines. So it's not just scan lines. It's definitely different. And yeah, it's pretty crazy. Because the IPS screen, it's the first thing I noticed is like, oh, it doesn't have that. It's just like super clear. And again, if that's what you want, then that's awesome. But I kind of almost missed it. I was like, oh, I kind of like those grid lines. That kind of reminds me that, that's what it was. That's what this is. So, yeah, I was kind of like a little, I don't want to say bummed, but I was kind of like, oh, these screens are different. Again, no knock on the screens, though. They still look fantastic. And the IPS screen, I was like, whoa. This looks so good. Probably was a funny playing one. Which drops frames. Oh, I know. I think he got, because we were talking back and forth, and I know he got something that was a V2, and I said, yeah. I mean, if it says V2, get it. So maybe that's what happened. Maybe it's version 2 that's okay. Trying to think. I don't know which one I put in for that customer. I don't know when that happened, but I mean, I put in a customer. When I did theirs, it was a while ago. It was probably right at the beginning of the pandemic. So I don't know how long it's been an issue. But, yeah. Well, that kind of stinks. It drops frames. That kind of stinks. I'm glad they fixed it, though. You know what's a cool one I just did was a Neo Geo Pocket and a WonderSwan WonderSwan Color. Those ones I did, they were pretty cool. Again, I also love those systems. Like the systems nobody loves and nobody knows. I love them. They're the best. Although, honestly, there's not a lot in the WonderSwan Color that I'm particularly into. But I know some people are. Which is good. Which is cool. I didn't know they dropped frames, though. At least the older version there. It definitely stinks, but glad they figured it out. Honestly, I do. Yeah, the AGS 101 screen never dropped frames. I actually have an AGS 101 screen in a Game Boy Color, too. Again, I did years ago. It's kind of funny because, this pandemic, it kind of like blew up retro gaming. And I'm happy I've been into retro gaming, collecting for decades and modding for decades. Because, I am not paying some of these outrageous prices for stuff. I could not believe some of the prices for stuff right now. And it's, I get it, supply and demand. But, oh my goodness. I've got so many stories of getting stuff cheap, it's ridiculous. Got super graphics for $175, I think it was, years ago. Now, I don't even know what those are up to, but they're probably through the roof. Got an FM Towns Marty for $100-200. It's crazy how much this stuff is now. Crazy. Even just stuff like Neo Geo's always been expensive. I'm not gonna say anything about that. That's always been expensive. But even just your GameCube, right? Dreamcast. There's a good example. I got a Dreamcast off Facebook Marketplace. I want to say it was like had to have been 2-3 years ago now, probably 3 years ago. Just to put a DC digital in, just there you go. I got it for $30, and like now they're just crazy amounts of money. But maybe the price will come down on stuff for people. The IPS I got was a V2. V1 had screen tearing, which is definitely worse. Oh, well, that's good to know then. I'll let him know. First I'll ask if there's any issues that he's got. Because I think it was Funny Playing that he got it from. Because he was asking me of all different places. And, I told him about Handheld Legends. Which I was like, yeah, they're definitely a good, reputable reseller. Like, don't get it off AliExpress. Because, you can. And there's decent stuff on there too. But they're just like, support the actual people. Like Funny Playing and stuff. So, support the devs. People that put their heart and soul into these amazing mods. And the goal is, hopefully, they'll go ahead and continue making these amazing mods because you support them. Don't buy clones. I have never, as far as I've known, I've never bought a clone. Even the GDMU I got is the original. And that's like the most clone thing out there. Did I just drop that? I just stripped it and I dropped it. That's fine. Oh, so okay. So that's good to know. I'll ask him. He was very excited. It all sparked for him when he found in the, I guess it was in his, his wife had like a Game Boy DMG, and he asked like, so can this thing be modded? And I was like, oh yeah, dude, this is plenty of mods out there for it. I was like, actually, the easy one, it's literally plug and play. You just go ahead and you put in, you drop in a whole new front panel. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, man. So I know he did that too. But then he was like, yeah, I really want to get into like Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance. So I was like, yeah. So there's mods out there for that too. He did. Oh, were they? Oh. I mean, maybe Luke didn't know. I don't know. Hopefully he didn't know. Good. He's got a lot of cred. A lot of cred in here. In the this community. So hopefully he didn't know. Or maybe they were just the same suppliers. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? I like Luke. He supplies me with fireballs. Plus, he's got great price on those. Oh my goodness, on those cap kits. There's like such good prices, especially not to have to do the work. And he does offer discounts as well. So, kind of on that discount plan because I order a lot. I like being on that discount plan. I like it. Alright, let's keep on keeping on. The pixels were swapped? Dude, that's so weird. So, wow. I'll have to ask him. I'm pretty sure he got that off the same handheld legend there. Like you got the other kit. Pixels were swapped. That's super weird. Super weird. I mean, still playable, but at what cost? Playable at what cost? Actually, how bottom of the screen do you mean? Like one line of pixels or something? Or asked him about it and he checked. He told me they were all like that. Really? Interesting. I wonder why they all be like that. See, I'm learning a lot. Thank you, Invader Zim. Also, a fantastic name, by the way. Oh, just literally 1 pixel. Oh, okay. But see, I didn't know any of this about the kits, that they kind of have like little issues like this. It's good to know. Good to know. All right, so we got C2, which is actually on the cartridge port. You can still use Kynar for that, though. For the battery, though, I'm not going to use Kynar. Not going to happen. It's actually a real short run. It's so weird, though, about the pixels. I mean, I guess, you know, it is and it isn't. I mean, at the end of the day, we do mods like any of this stuff. We're pushing the limits of man. No, we're pushing the limits of the hardware. In some cases, you know, we're doing stuff to the hardware that it was never meant to be done to it. So, you know, it makes sense there might be some compatibility issues. Again, that's why, one thing again, I will give a huge shout out to Dan and Christoph. Oh my goodness. And now Woozle, as he's part of that Pixel FX team now. Man, it's just, it's incredible what they, you know, the firmware updates. Just log in. You don't even log in. It's over Wi-Fi. It's like so good. Like, that is amazing. Because again, it's always going to be compatibility issues with stuff like this, you know? And, man, it's just so simple. Like, it's over Wi-Fi. It's literally one of my favorite things about their products. I mean, other than it looks fantastic too. Let's not, you know, let's not forget that. But, man, it's amazing how easy it is to upgrade your firmware, update your firmware. You know, I wish that Woozle did it this way. Oh, did it that way, rather, for this. But, you know, there's actually not too much when it comes to, you know, firmware upgrades. There's only been one so far that I know of, from the original, not beta. So, for the retail release, I think there's only been one update so far, and just JTAG the other board, not the breakout board, but the other board. And yeah, and it stinks, but it works. All you notice, because I checked with 240p test suite. Oh, fantastic! I love 240p test suite. I use that all the time. Same deal with the GBA PS kits. Yeah, only notice the drop frames after checking. Oh, so you know what? He's very much, you know, kind of a casual player, so I'm sure he won't even notice. Like, he's a good guy, but he definitely, you know, I'm sure he you know, he's just enjoying it, and at the end of the day, that's what counts. That's what counts. That you just enjoy it. So yeah. All right, let's get out the rest of the kit we got going on here. So we gotta connect the battery, which is gonna be probably these. Yeah, that makes sense. And then we've got eventually the SNES connector, and then the power, and all that good stuff. So yeah, so far this is looking good. Again, nice straight lines. I'm gonna clean it up as well a little bit more. You know, like I said, my with a little dab of super glue, you know, just to keep them all nice and aligned. Maybe not on this end because they're so spaced out. On this end here, when you look, they're very spaced out. But at least straighten them out, and then maybe over here so they all come out like that. But we'll deal with that. What we do need to do though is this like pre-cut to size? Yeah, almost. Yeah, almost. So we're gonna go ahead and again, see, the nail clipper works fantastic. See, so if you want to go ahead and separate these two wires, just take the nail clipper in there. Boop. There you go. Now they're separate. You kind of need to for the two pads. So there you go. So it just kind of cuts it right down the middle, and you can use flat cutters for it too. But that's what I mean. It's kind of crazy that one of the best tools in an install like this is literally a pair of nail clippers. Alright, so kind of looking at this, yeah. Again, we can go over the, because I want to keep these as short as possible. We'll kind of go ahead, we'll do the, like a 90-degree bend. Put it to here. Okay. Did a mark there. Now I can bring it back up and cut them. And just because they're in my hand, keep using these. There we go. Again with the bend, looks like we'll be in tip-top shape. Cool. Alright, let's do it up. So let's flex it up. Let's flex it up. And then yeah, we're gonna clean all the flex off the board at the end, towards the end. Alright, let's add a little bit more fresh solder here. Oh yeah, let's turn it up. So I'm gonna boost it up, probably go to 350. Where'd it go? Yeah, 350. That'll help melt this a little bit. Again, it's a big area, so there you go. You'll see it slowly start to melt like that. And then we'll just insert one. Actually, I'm going to do it from the other side. There we go. Can you even see? No? Let's see. There we go. Insert. Oh, I didn't tin these wires. I tin up those wires so they don't come apart on you. That's easy. Gotta tin up your wires. I think part of it is I'm just getting hungry. What time we got? Ooh, 6 o'clock on the dot. I'm just having fun. Yeah, I think later I'm gonna fool around more with that Sinden light gun. Which will be fun to do as well. Alright, let's fill this pad full of nice fresh solder. And we'll just stick that wire in. I'm sorry, I moved. And just hold it there until it dries up. There you go. Alright, so they're clearly labeled BT plus and BT minus. So we just can't get those. I wish they actually reversed the pads on here. Because again, when you do the bend, it reverses them, but that's fine. We can work with what we got. There we go. There you go. See, put that little bend in there. Look at that, huh? Look at that. We are on a roll. And again, double check. BT minus, check. BT plus, check. There you go. Alright, so let's kind of look at what we can do with these here. These wires here. So we're going to straighten that out a bit. So we'll straighten these. And then this will kind of get it all prepped up. For just a hint of super glue. Get PS2 modding scene style. That's when I see a bunch of kind iron wires together. It just brings me back. Brings me back, man. Can't ignore it. Gotta put a dab of super glue on it to keep them all together. It's actually very simple to do. You hold it. So I'm not going to do it on the micro. Just not going to be able to this easily. Well, maybe I can. Yeah, you can just see my big finger in the way. So we just want to keep these wires together. So you want them nice and close together. No gaps. Where you're going to put the glue. So again, the glue just goes on the wire insulation itself. It doesn't go on the board. It'll be real slick looking. The smallest amount, and then what I do is I take like a piece of bounty and just kind of spread it out. Spread it out and over. Quick blow on it. And there we go. So if you're ever wondering, when you look at PS2, you know, old PS2 mods, back when it was like, it was art. And you ever wondered, how do they get those lines so straight? And their kind of wires so straight. That's what we do. That's what we used to do. It's just a little bit of super glue right there. And you can see it just kind of brings them all together. And again, it's the super glues you can even see as I can kind of move it up and down. It's just on the wire. It's not on the board. And what it does is, well, just simply goes ahead and just keeps it nice and straight. So they come out straight and then they go off to where they gotta go. So yeah, it's just a nice way to make it look nice and neat. And I like to use the gel with that, so it just kind of gels it instead of using the liquid. I think sometimes the liquid, you know, drips down to the bottom of the board and it's no good. So a little bit of gel Again, I use Loctite, Super Glue, Ultra Gel Control. And yeah, it's that little touch that just makes it look magnifique. So, there you go. Especially when you have all of these so close together like that. It just makes it really nice where it just goes a nice smooth motion. Just like, there you go. Not like wires all over the place. So, actually, you know, I'll take a picture. I'll take a picture. Be proud of your work, right? Whoa, selfie mode. Just, I don't need to look at myself. Here we go, take a quick picture. Okay, cool. I like to post them online, then also post the, afterwards, when it's working and stuff. Okay, so we gotta do the board, the main board. So the main board, it's not that guy, it's this guy. We also have the wire board too. Open this, keep that over here. Keep it close. And then we're gonna put the main board off to the side for the moment, because we get to assemble a few things. Just a few things. Does it not come with an LED, or am I going nuts? It doesn't come with an LED. He doesn't even include an LED in the kit? That is some... Really? Really? Doesn't include an LED in the kit. Well then. I have a bunch of LEDs over there. And that's what we're gonna use. I have to dig for them now. I don't like doing that on stream. Man. No LED. And I got a whole thing of them over there, but no LED. How much does this get again? That's crazy, it doesn't even include an LED. I'm not even kidding. I want to go over, but I'm on stream, so it's like, I feel bad. It's gonna be off camera and I gotta look in my box over there for him. Yeah, I'll do it real quick. And if it takes too long, that's it. Alright, I'll do it later. I can't believe it doesn't include an LED. I can't believe it. Whatever. Kit's over there too. whole bag of blue LEDs would be perfect for this. Alright, I'll look for it after. I didn't expect to look for it. Didn't expect to have to look for it. Yeah. No, I agree. I think... Yeah, man. I mean, just like, yeah. I agree with you, man. It's over there. Yeah, well, it is what it is. Again, the nice thing is I can go ahead and I'll just put it on after the stream. So then you don't have to like just watch me dig through boxes. Because I have it. It's in a... I know exactly what's in a bag. Yeah. Not gonna rack my brain about it. But, yeah, let's see here. So we'll probably go ahead. Put it like this. Yeah, it's just a switch, doesn't matter. Like, yeah, it doesn't even matter. Yeah, I'm kind of like, shame on that. You can include a LED. Literally, it costs pennies. Actually, yeah, why are we even doing this breakout board? Why don't they just have the breakout board already done? Oh well. I'm not going to complain. But, just a little disappointed. Here, I'm going to grab my helping hand over there. Just a little disappointed. I mean, I'm really more about the no LED part. What's up with that? Right? Is that maybe because you can choose your own color, maybe? Maybe that's it? A whole box of blue over there. If you haven't noticed, I get everything ready before the stream on purpose, so I don't have to walk off stream and do a bunch of stuff. So, I guess I wouldn't be, if I was just doing it on my own, I wouldn't be like, as kind of shocked, but, well, not shocked, but like, oh man, why didn't you just include a LED though? So I know he includes an LED in his other kits. Not Woozle's kit, the GameTech's other, or Jason's other kits. You could do an optional kit if you want. Even I'd be behind that, I mean. There we go. Make sure that's in nice and straight. I'm going to be doing the same for the SNES connector. The SNES connector, what I found is actually the using the 8-bit do, using that as like a to put it in the connector when you go ahead and solder it in, that helps with the pins not getting all messed up. So I have that right over there actually for that. Alright, let's go ahead and do the rest. Let's keep on going. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you definitely need a resistor for the LED. You can't just put an LED in. Yep. I mean, that's the thing. I got all my resistors over there. I literally looked at my resistor box. I was like, oh, there's a bag in there. But it wasn't in there. Sometimes I like to keep the two together. Since, you know, put on an LED, you're going to need a resistor. What I'll probably do too, probably do it off stream and post it on Twitter, is, and if you're not already, follow me on Twitter, because that's where I post whenever I'm going to stream. But yeah, what I'll probably do is I'd like to put a few more LEDs in, maybe just like one or two, because I think it'd be cool not just have an LED like, you know, lighting this power switch, which is what this is for, but even like, you know, having an LED to like, you know, just kind of like an underglow underneath, especially with the smoke glass. I keep saying glass, but acrylic. I think it'd look pretty cool. So I'll kind of rack my head about that off stream then. Cool. Still kind of, you know, average person, you know, with an LED. Be kind of cool. Maybe it's good. Maybe I know the original kits didn't. And like I said, like, you know, haven't installed too many of these because there just haven't been too many of these around. You know? So haven't installed too many of them. And the other ones I have are the old kits that don't have an LED. They have a, you know, they have a different type of switch. They have a rocker switch. This is a push. Yeah, see, push switch. All right. So this is probably going to go. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll just do this here. If I remember correctly, this goes to the main board. So this is going to be the moment where we're going to have the two boards kind of together. But the main board's going to meet the, whatchamacallit there? Where the main board meets the motherboard. So I'm just tinning up some wires, that's all. And then, yep. I'm gonna go ahead and put them right on there. Turn this around. Oh my goodness, those magnets are literally just going to everything. Oh yeah, that's right, there's magnets this time around. So another mod we got coming up is the Open MVS. I actually got it in already. It's right over there. So that'll actually be a real quick, kind of fun stream. Just kind of like, hey man, let's check out the Open MVS, as it's a really cool, like, open source way to consolize an MVS. I actually have a consolized MVS already, but this is a much cleaner look. Absolutely love the 3D print. It did a fantastic job. So yeah, make sure you're following on Twitter so you know when I go live on that one, because that'll be a real cool one to do. Alright, I guess I'll come back to the LED. Magnets are actually really tough. Oh. Alright, didn't expect that. Let's put these magnets away before they attach to everything. Alright. So, here we are. Let's put this on the main board. So it's just probably P1, P2, P3, connect it all together. Easy stuff. Easy stuff. Put this there. Where the magnets go. That there for now. Okay. Are they over here? Right there. Look at that. Oh, I mean, you could just really see. Do you have a picture of it? No, I soldered over it. Yeah, P1, 2, 3. That way. Gotcha. Easy stuff, yeah. Flex cable out of the way. Gosh, so many little like things. This kit. I forgot about that. You know, I put in like from the first batch too, so I some of this thing a while ago. First one there. Get these pads all prepped up. And then are you able to see? Yeah, there you go. That's why iron went back down to like 300, turned to 325. Alright, get those tacked in. Put a little bit more solder on them. There we go. Bada bing. So there we go. We're in good shape there. Yep. Good shape here. Good shape there. Good shape here. Now let's go ahead. Let's put on SNES connector. Now, if I remember correctly, it goes in the top. That. Let's see. And just in case, I mean, I don't know if the serial numbers mean anything, but I'm just gonna put that there just in case it blocks out my serial number. So this is the part I was talking about. It's good to just go ahead. I got an 8-bit do receiver. What's really good, because these pins are kind of like loose in here a little bit. I mean, they're pretty tight in there, but they're still like a little loose. Plug this bad boy in. There you go. So it'll kind of help hopefully keep the pins in line. We go ahead and solder this up like that, and we got to keep it nice and straight. Nice and straight. So this is one where you just want to tack it in first. Just tack it in first. Go from there. Oh, yeah, turn it up a bit too. It's gonna soak some heat. Turn to 360. Need like 3 hands for this. I'll actually put them at the end of my iron. Make sure it's nice and straight, and just tack that one in. Don't worry, I'm just gonna I'll clean it up afterwards, but we're just tacking it in. It's nice. Eyeballing it nice and straight. And do it on the other side. So again, just putting a bunch of solder on my iron. Tacking on the other side. Cool. This is looking, kind of looking from here. Over there, looking pretty straight. Okay, then we just go to town with the rest of it. Alright. I'm going to put a little bit of flux all around. Flux is your friend. So don't forget to call. Don't forget to call it. There you go. Boom. Love me some flux. And then what I'm going to do, double check. Still nice and straight. Good. Okay. So honestly, once this is soldered in, it is a pain. Absolute pain if you gotta move it. You have to heat it up and be careful with the plastic. It's good to get it right the first time. There we go. So surround the pin around the pad. That's the key. You're going to use a lot of solder here. We're also going to cut down these pins afterwards. So, I'm going to cut down the pins afterwards, so don't worry too much about, you know, I'm sticking up so high right now. Now I'm at 360 because of course I want to go ahead and make sure this melts all around, and it's such a big area, so just make sure it melts onto those pads as well. Make sure it's filled up real nice. I'm gonna go back to where we tacked it in on one side. There we go. Get that nice and full. Don't breathe in the chemicals. And the other side that we tacked in, let's go ahead, fill that in as well. Alright, check that it's still straight. We are still straight. Check that you're on, the pads are all nice and soldered in. There you go. Look at that, huh? So there you go, you can see. All together, that's what we're looking at right there. It's nice, all in. It should be like really in there. Nice and flush. Alright, now we can unplug the 8-bit do receiver, or if you just have like a, you know, Super Nintendo controller, same difference. It'll do the same. Just plug it in. I notice the ports, you know, can be tight with that. And now we want to cut these legs. Now, you're thinking to yourself, oh, just grab these flat cutters and cut it. Be careful, alright? These are pretty thick. Yeah, see, I mean, you could probably go around and do it too. Actually, let's see if that will work for you. If that's all you have. Just got to be careful, because these are really thick. I do have thicker cutters over there. But there you go. So you just got to be real careful, kind of cut it all around. And you can actually use flat cutters. Okay. Just be careful, they will go everywhere. There we go. There we go. Now what you'll see, I'm going to do something that I like to do even when I recap. And that's to actually flow the solder afterwards too. So watch this. If you look, now they look cut, right? But if you do this, pro tip, just reflow the solder. it'll look more like a point, like it wasn't just cut. Just be careful, especially because you don't have the receiver and you want to make sure you don't move the pins. You just, you're just kind of reflowing it so it looks nicer. It's a part of the board, you know, no one's going to see, so it doesn't even matter. But I'll know it's there. Bridge, but we can take care of that. Take care of it pretty easily. I'm actually gonna plug the receiver back in since I have it like right here. There we go. And let's just take care of this bridge. Might have to put a little bit of flux. Flux really will put it in its place. In the worst case scenario, I'll just use a desoldering gun. The only reason why you're like, wow, these things are so big, how do they bridge? It's really because the, you know, there's just so much solder, you know, needed to go ahead and like, you know, for each one, there we go, that, you know, when they both heat up, they get really, really molten, both of them, and they're really close together. Just pull the solder away, and there we go. Bridge is gone. So I'm just going to heat it up, make sure it's still nice. There you go. Heat this one up, make sure it's still nice. There you go. Bada bing. Alright, and we get that SNES connector on as well now, the controller connector. Unplug the receiver. There we go. And then let's clean it up. Alright, we're getting towards the assembly, the end. I'm just gonna like unassemble it to go ahead and, you know, put in the LEDs, so, you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and assemble the case now. Here we go, which should be easy. I hear this one's easier than the other one, which I feel like it's gonna be. I mean, it's one piece. Let's start there. That's gonna be very easy. Although I will give, you know, Lulu credit, he did a great job with the other one. You know, I mean, it really is well engineered. I just think it's like kind of over engineered. The old case is a little over engineered, so this is a much easier way for sure to do it. So yeah, I'm just gonna clean our main board here for the final time and get flux residue off again. Residue off and dry it. Again, make sure to have good ice purple alcohol. I actually like the spray stuff better than dipping it in, just because, of course, you know, you can get contaminated when you keep dipping in the spray stuff. When you spray it on, it's less likely to get contaminated, so this is really good. Alright, can't wait to see what it's going to look like here. Especially with the top. Alright, main board. Check. With some this stuff. Flex cables, FFC. That's good stuff. That's the good stuff. Alright, I'm gonna assume looking at these pins, we're going down, blue side up. Pins down. Snap that in. Snap that in. Okay. And then I'm going to assume it's going to be like this. Let's see how good the 3D print ended up. Well, maybe if I put those connectors in first. Ooh, it's a tight fit. Yeah, it's interesting because again on the original kit, it's you know, it's two pieces, so you don't really have to deal with this. But I would assume you put these guys in the back through their holes. There we go. That feels like that they're in place. Is this gonna go right there? Yeah, give or take. I want to ease it in, don't want to force it in. That's what I'm doing right now. Well, really, like, it's not a lot of space. What if I could start filing a little bit too, but let me just cut that a bit. Man, this really is like a tight fit. Gosh, it's so interesting. Because again, it's not this tight because it's like two different parts in the original kit. This is really tight. Again, I don't want to have to resolder a mini HDMI and a mini USB connector if this thing pops off. I don't think you put the SNES connector in first. I would assume you put the smaller connectors in first. But yeah, my screw holes line up. I don't need to file a force in anything. Oh. So yeah, put the SNES connector in first. See, I figured you put the other connectors in first just because they're smaller. You don't want them to pop off. Oh, there it is. That went in. And I also think how's my printer tolerance? I hope it's good. Yeah, it's looking. Let's see something. So I actually printed two. So let's see. See if the other one does well here. Oh, okay. You know what it is? Yeah. So now I'm starting to get it. The SNES connector goes in. Does it go through the hole? So then it gives you space to put in the micro HDMI and the micro USB. So I actually might need a file, because like I said, this one I actually put a code of XTC 3D on, which is a, essentially makes a 3D print kind of glossy. So it might actually have just made the hole a little bit tighter than it should. Not that I put a thick layer on or anything, but could have. And that might be why. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I got an exact knife right here. Let me just outline the hole a bit. There we go. Yeah, you know what's coming up is that XTC 3D. So I bet you it maybe just made the hole like a little bit more, like just close it up a little bit more. Let's see if I was right. Oh yeah, actually right in that corner too. Yeah, see, it did. I can literally just see where it is. Gives it a nice glossy finish though, but so this is the first time I put it in the new case. So I'm thinking that's what it is. Just supposed to probably go through and adjust. Needs a little bit of shaping now, since I put that stuff on. Stuff looks good though. Gives it this nice like semi-gloss shine. And I actually printed with PETG filament, so I didn't actually print with like PLA or ABS. Actually, you know what I see right there? I see part of the supports. Just gotta clean that up a bit more. That might just be the millimeter tolerance I need. Let's clean up those supports. Let's see if it was. Let's see if it was. Yeah, through the hole? Okay, I was right. I feel like that makes the most sense. As it goes through the hole and then... yeah, like that. And see, that's all I needed. And then how do these holes line up in the back? Oh yeah, okay. Because then this pushes back in. And the screw holes, do they match up? Oh, not at the moment, but... have to even do the same in the back here too. Maybe a little bit thicker, so. I don't think it needs to be filed, but just a little trimmed. Yeah, it needs to be a little bit more trimmed. Because I could see it too. It's just the stuff I put on just makes it a little bit more thick. And instead of just being here forever filing it down, we use an X-Acto. Just open up the holes a little bit more. Let's see. Is that all it was? It's a little bit thicker than it needed to be. Gosh. Gently push. Yeah, and it's just a little bit more. It looks like I can see it right through the holes, but it's like just a hair more, just a hair more. Seems like some of it's just from the supports that's still left over. Some of it's from that XTC 3D I put on. It's a little bit thick. THICC. Thick. Alright, let's do this. Go. still see just a little bit where it was touching. Let's see. See it. It's almost like the Super Nintendo connector doesn't want to go back through. Or something. Might be something still in the way. Hey, there we go. Now the screws are all lined up. Alright. Need slight trimming just because of like various things. But there we go. Alright. So the new board, assuming the switch is gonna like go over here. Might have to do with trimming all around. As well, the different supports and stuff. I can already see a little bit in there too. Where's my Exacto? Oh yeah, I can see that's in the way. Yeah, a lot of the support material, I tried to get out as much as I could, but I think that's definitely what's keeping a few of these things from going in right away, nice and easy. See if that'll fit in there. No. Oh yeah, perfect. So it's good and it's nice and tight too. There we go. Alright. Whew. Let's actually screw this thing in. There were screws. There were screws. And then there were screws. So let's see. Where is the screw kit? Had it. I think I put it over here. Hey, oh, here we go. Alrighty. Let's keep it going. Okay, come on. Go. Let's take all screws out right now. Those are some strong magnets. All right. Let's put this away, sheathed in a way. Now let's figure this out. So they look like they're all the same type of screws. Turn that up a minute. There we go, threading our own holes. Now the nice thing is that these come with the latest firmware already. So, no need to G-tag and flash any new firmware on. And again, I have the other video on there. If you haven't the older version, you need to reflash. It's actually not that bad. Yeah, I think it just needs a little bit more power for these because you're threading your own holes into the 3D print, so. Alright, that's in there nice and that's tough. Yes. Okay. Alright, so there it is. There's that. So I'm not going to tighten. I'm not going to put that in yet because, like I said, I'm going to go get some LEDs. So we'll get back to that. And then I'm going to put, I believe this is going to go up like this, or is it going to, no, it's cartridge slot, right? Yeah. So this is going to go pins down, if I remember from the other kit. Blue ribbon up. Close that. Open this back up. And there we go as well. I'm trying to think. When I took out the screen, was it pins up? Was it pins down? I don't think it was pins down. No, it's pins up. Right, hold on. Let me get that screen. Pins up. I was right. The second time. Alrighty. And this is gonna go oh. Oh. A doy. Just thought of that. Cartridge connector. It's coming up the front. Haha. It's actually going to be something like this, I bet. Am I right? Yeah, it is. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna put this through the front like that. Such a slow, I don't know. So then oh, okay. So yeah, it just kind of falls into place, and oh yeah, there we go. We got more screw holes. Oh yeah, see? That stuff again is kind of made a little bit thicker than the front hole, so I'm actually gonna again take the X-Acto, kind of just shave off a little bit. Let's see. You know what? I think that front connector is gonna have to go through. Like not just sit in front of the hole, but like go through the hole. It's interesting because the old design, this is nice though, that it's like contoured to the shape of the actual, you know, extension there. The actual port to the shape of the port. I like that a lot. And on the original, it's not. It's just like a big open hole. Oh yeah, look at that. Well, everything all lines up really well. These screws. So I'm assuming 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm assuming. Wow, this case is easier than the original one. By like a lot. Ooh, that fell in. Yeah, the electric screwdriver works when you don't have to like thread through the holes, right? You have to like thread your holes. Just threading into the 3D print. Okay. So then this is gonna go like this. Yes. Does it click? Oh, yes, it does. Oh, clicked in really well. Oh, it's like a slot. Oh, look at that. That's cool. Okay. I actually do enjoy this newer case already more than the older case. Okay, and then there's the magnets now. So let's see. It just flew across the floor. Oh, I can already see all of the stuff. You know what I'm gonna do though? With these, I'm gonna take a drill bit. And open it up a bit. By hand though, not with the drill. Well, I could get the drill if I need it. Yeah, alright, yeah, okay. There you go, drops in now. How far do they go in? I mean, they really don't need to go in far, I guess, because it's just to keep the lid on. Let's see, what if I... There we go. That worked. I'll tell you what, if they fit. You know, I can see them. Still some of the mounting. Not mounting, support material. I think that's really the clinches, the support material. That's been messing me up all day. This 3D print anyway. Said I thought I cleaned out the 3D print support material pretty well, but just proof over and over that it still needed a little bit more. material still in there. Come on, go down. Just a little bit more. Oh, that's fine. Alright, let's do the smoke. Let's do that. So that's gonna go. I should do all of them have to go down more? Oh yeah, look at that. Literally pushing them down more. Oh wow, yeah, they have to go down quite a bit more. There we go. Safe with the knife end up. Okay. Alright, now I'm excited. I have not taken off the little the little tiny, this little protecting of the glass. There we go. So let's see what the smoke looks like. Oh, the peelies, savor the peelies. Ooh, I like that. Oh yeah, once I get back to those LEDs, it'll be good to just have a little bit of light coming up from this. It'll look good. Man. Couldn't just put the magnets on, but look at that, huh? With the smoke, you can see right through it too. Get out of here, this is looking fancy. Look at that gloss, huh? It's such a tight fit, you don't even put the magnets on yet, but it's still on there. Wow, look at that. That looks, you know, even just to put side by side with the old one. See how far it's come already. Look at this. Put this over here. Look at that, huh? Yeah, I like this better than this look, huh? Look at this here. Look at that. Wow. It's good. Wow, look at this. Yeah. There you go. There you go. There's the finished product. The only thing left to do is pretend this switch is on there. So, again, I'll put the magnets in too. Almost kind of like I'm on the fence about it though. Is this fitting so well right now? It's nice and tight on there. Well, maybe not that tight. Maybe I'll put these on. Okay, take that back. Not that tight. Okay, is there an adhesive? No? We're using super glue for this? Eee, I don't know if I want to use super glue for this. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's a dot of super glue. Oof, I don't know if I wanna super glue. Do you think this through? Is there a better way? I don't know if there is. And these magnets are really pretty strong for these being such little guys. Whew. Oh. Oh yeah, this magnet's chipped. Okay, I'll make sure they're on the right way. Really super glue, huh? There's a few things I'm not a huge fan of this kit, but I guess that's just part of it. Yeah, I guess we'll have to just push these in just a little bit more too. So it fits. Yeah, wow. I do have to push in just a more. Grab that safety cap. The kids are all talking about these safety caps for safety. There we go. Okay, let's see. If I can leave enough room. That corner might not. Okay, let's see. I'm starting to think now. These magnets are supposed to go all the way in. Or at least pretty close to it. God, man, they're just really in there already. Break it. Yeah, even just looking at it, looks like they have to go in a little bit more. I'll figure that out. I'm just gonna keep messing with this. I mean, out of anything too, I'm gonna be, dabbing just a little dab of super glue for that cover. I think it looks great. Right? Doesn't this look awesome? This looks so good. So yeah, I guess we'll leave it here. We'll leave it here for now. Again, follow me on Twitter if you don't already. As you'll see the real finished product, I guess, after I put in the LEDs and I put the switch in, and then that's on there nice and tight after I get these in even more. And you'll see some gameplay. Check it out, right? So it'd be pretty cool. All right, guys, thank you for joining me. I'm gonna go grab something to eat and rack my mind with this stuff here. So just follow me on Twitter, and then you'll be able to see it all nice and complete and well, being played as well. See, this is my perfectionist coming out. I'm like, ooh, I could just do that real quick and do that real quick. See? Am I gonna get the N64 digital? Absolutely. 100%. I actually have the Ultra HDMI currently, and I installed that one years ago. Back when you could get them. Now, I don't know what Marshall's doing. But nevertheless, I'm glad to see that Woozle, again, Steve, Christoph, and Dan have picked up the torch, and they make fantastic projects. So I'm sure that it's going to output, crisp, clear 1080p as well. And yeah, very excited for it. So I think that'll be good. I can't wait. I'll definitely install that on stream for sure. So that'll be good. Again, I think I heard, at least from the tweet, it's April. April's when they're looking to release it. So, which is, it's good because, help my wallet recover a little bit. Between the PS1 digital and brand new systems this year, man, it's been crazy. There you go. Look at that, though, huh? Doesn't that look great? Oh, my goodness. I'm loving this. And I do like that XTC 3D finish I put on. It makes it in this nice shine, which is cool. Makes it like a semi-gloss, so it actually looks more like plastic than a 3D print, which is pretty cool to see. Yeah. Yeah, see, there I am. Clean this up a little bit. See, right here, a little bit in there. But yeah. Yeah, I'm sure whoever gets this is going to be super happy. I mean, look at that. That smoke looks good. Oh, it really does. And again, just looking at comparison. Again, pretend this is on there, as I'm going to do that LED in it later. But just look at comparison. Look at the new and the old kit. Man. I really do like the new kit better. Even the design of the back. It's nice. But yeah. But again, thank you for joining me. Again, if you haven't, like I said, I've said it a million times, but follow me on Twitter. Post the pictures of this. I'll post the pictures of it working, and then with the LED as well, because I definitely want to put, I'm gonna go get something to eat and think about where should I put LEDs underneath as well. Not a lot, nothing crazy, just maybe 2 underneath would be good. I don't know. We'll see. But nevertheless, thanks for joining me. And if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe. So we have more great stuff going on. Oh, it did? Oh, I'm glad the video helped you, update video helped you. That's why I did it. It was literally just to go ahead and, show hey, because I think when Steve went ahead and, put out the update, he just basically said, I'm not going to show you how to do it, just here's the update. So I was like, man, people probably don't know how to do that. So I was like, all right, I'll do it real quick. So I did it real quick, did that video. Probably not my best work, but I'm glad it helped you out though, for sure. And I'm glad you enjoyed the stream, and we did this thing from beginning to end, essentially. Just a little bit clean up there, and we'll be in good shape. Like I said, the things I got coming up in the future, I got an open MVS over there, which is an open source Neo Geo MVS, which is fantastic. I got a billion things to recap that's on the list. I got one of those. It's not gonna be much of a stream. It's gonna be real short. One of those new power boards for the Famicom, which is pretty cool. It does AV out and puts in a power board that you can plug in either positive, center positive or center negative for your power supply there. So that'll be pretty cool. And a bunch of other stuff. I got like the Make Megahertz. I got that already for the Xbox. Make that digital HDMI out. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. So yeah, feel free to subscribe. And we'll catch you in the next one.